want weirdo or do you want itchy?
If you don't really know what's going on, there's a show that also doesn't know what's going on. Call that radio TV. You call that radio. Call that radio TV. You call that radio TV.
It should call that radio TV. We are live with the Mickey Nines to talk about their new album, Modern Kunst. I am a ghost right now, but I will come back to... I'm back! As you can see, I've got a lovely vinyl behind me. The vinyls that are coming soon, I understand. Dougie, Dave, how you doing?
Good, nice to see you. How's it going?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's warm. See, I thought there was the reason I booked you because I thought I thought we had a nice weather last week because nobody needs a fucking podcast when it's sunny, including me. But hopefully people have tuned in and we'll finish in time for the football. We're all agreed on that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, England make the first final in 50 years, whatever it is, 60 years.
Do you think prediction time straight away? Who's going to win tonight?
Well, I would say England have the better team. They've got great players. But because the pundits have been not even talking about this game, because all they can talk about is that they're going to play Italy in the final. They're just like, oh, would you rather have Italy or Spain in the final? We're going to play it. And that's what they always do. So that curses them. So that's why I think Denmark will win. They never play the game in front of them. They always try and predict what the next game is. And that's the curse of the English.
Dave, prediction?
I think England will win. But then I do like, one of my favourite songs is Three Lines on the Shirt. So I do want to keep on hearing that, but then not for them to win. Because I was thinking I'd love to see those word clouds you get when you take a book and you see the most key words in it. I'd like to see that with the commentary in England games. At the start, they all sounded quite kind of unconfident. There's a new team, they're doing well, and gradually the more they win, their language is just, they are brilliant, they are gods. And just to see how those the commentary evolves in England matches.
Yeah.
And Italy, if Italy get... If it's England, Italy in the final, Dougie, are you going to use your Italian heritage to vote to support Italy?
Well,
or are you going to support your local team?
Well, because my wife's Italian and my son is, half Italian, it's quite nice to be able to support a team that is actually good. So it's kind of an amazing thing. It's like you're watching international football and they could win the actual cup, the team that you support. It's kind of cool.
Glory Hunter.
Quite enjoying it.
Will your son play for Scotland or Italy? That's the question.
Scotland for sure. Right.
What if he wants to play for a team that might win the World Cup?
I know, but he's going to get indoctrinated by me over the years, so he'll want to play for Scotland.
But to be honest, with Scotland not have the youngest team of the Euros, and they actually played some football at times.
I thought Scotland played well. I thought they were good.
Remember when the last time Scotland used to get into tournaments, and they would just they would win 1-0 or scrape a draw, but it was always very defensive. Colin Hendry, he done it.
Yeah,
done it out, and that was pretty much the tactic. Colin Hendry, he does the ball. But it was actually pleasantly surprised to see they passed the ball, which is new for me as a Scotland fan to witness.
Yeah, Scotland got some good midfielders, and they just lack a striker, I think. But they were good, and I think they played well, even though they didn't. They didn't win any games, but they played well.
Scored a goal.
Scored a goal.
It's got to count for something.
Yeah.
Even though the other team scored 3 goals. I think that's what we need to focus on, scoring more goals than the other team, but I'm no expert. Greg's in the house. Hello, Greg. Hello, Mark McInnes. Hello, Lou. Hello, Greg again. Hello, Kirsten. Alex. Yeah, it's one of the best bands to come out of Glasgow. Indeed, and the new album might be your best yet. Surprisingly, are you surprised that people are saying that it might be your best album?
I think each of the albums are a lot different as well. So, because the first one was like live and it was more raw, and then the second one was maybe a bit more of a mixture. This one is we've wrote it much differently because we wrote it pretty much during lockdown over Zoom for most of it and coming up with it. So it's like a lot different for us. But yeah, I think it's nice to hear that people are liking it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very, very, very chuffed, I guess. I think it's funny, what's been very weird about this album for me is that the other two albums were considerably road tested. I mean, the Party Manifesto, we'd been playing live for about 5 years with most of those songs sent before we actually recorded them. So we kind of knew that it was good. Galactic Radio was somewhat similar in that we were just sort of writing those songs and putting them into the set and seeing the reaction, and the songs that got kind of the best reactions made the album. But this one, really only Wrangling Me and Raw have been live before, and Wrangling Me was released a wee while ago as well. But we just thought we'd chuck that in the album anyway.
I did hear you singing the words to kids running around Kilburn one year.
Yeah, kids is actually.
You kind of gauge. Did you gauge the live reaction as you shouted the words in people's ears?
We've done that with the new album. We've just sent Dougie running down the streets singing out the lyrics and seeing how folk are enjoying it.
A bit of market research. A think tank, if you will.
Yeah,
we're going to. Heeding the ball is not PC. I do apologise about that. We're going to play a song first, so let's play a tune just for people that might not know about the Mickey Nines. What are you calling it? Post-funk evil disco?
That's what the critics call
it. And how are the critics receiving it? Obviously, as somebody who just released an album in a niche within a niche, there wasn't many critics to comment on it, right or wrong. Maybe they're intimidated by his greatness or something like that.
I saw one on one of the. I was just looking up before we came on, one of the music videos, and someone wrote, I think, Funk Prodigy. I went, oh yeah. And sometimes people just give you a description, and you're like, oh yeah, I can see that one.
Yeah, I think one guy. I think it was actually Chris Herron, who you know, Mark, who does reviews for NHC, the Gone division. I think I met him at a festival once, and then he said, it was a while ago though, it was before this new album, and he said, "Oh, you guys are kind of like a funky version of nu metal," and I was like, "Wow, that's such a fucking weird connection." But then when he said
funky new metal techno.
Then I was like, fucking hell, it's actually like that. And it definitely wasn't ever deliberately to be like that. But we grew up with new metal, in our early teens. And looking back on it, it's like you can actually definitely see that influence. And I think on the Modern Kunst album, that's come out more and more, almost kind of basically a wee bit more deliberately, actually. And I think Ants, who has been more at the forefront, he couldn't make it tonight, he's not feeling that well. But he had a lot more. I think he came more to the fore in this one because he produced it, and he loves metal and he loves new metal and that kind of. He's very unashamedly about that. But, me and Dave love that, but we just won't tell anyone.
Whoa, what's that?
Oh, is that the rain here?
Is that the rain on?
I'm just typing some bowling.
I might think things.
Well, I hear it. I hear the metal thing. Definitely, there's an element of it. Sounds like young guys playing in a metal band. There's that kind of sort of thing to it. But also, I was listening to the album in a car with Jo, and she was saying there was a couple of tunes that she would play in a techno set. It kind of reminded her of Justice and all of that kind of sort of guitar dance music
Yeah, I
of
think
the
when Justice came out, man, they were like proper revelation for us. It probably some of our fans might know that Daft Punk were a big influence, but in a way, Justice were more of an influence in a certain sense, because that was around 2007-ish, I think, and that's kind of when we were hitting the club scene a lot, when we were, all pals. We were about 18, and the band kind of was formed out of that. But I remember hearing Justice and thinking, this is like metal dance music, kinda, in a way, even though it's more obvious, it's way more dancey than metal. But I just remember thinking, imagine they did that with a live band. Like, how cool would it be to hear like Waters of Nazareth with a band playing that riff? And so we actually went into the studio and tried to do a cover of Waters of Nazareth with the band. I think we had it going for a while, but we just never really played it live. But we did have a cover of Waters of Nazareth, actually, if anybody knows that tune, which I think is one of the greatest tunes ever, basically. And yeah, just that kind of almost, it's not actually distorted guitar that they use synths, but it sounds like a metal band that's been crunched up and kind of compressed and then just turned into sort of synthesized almost weird to think that Daft Punk and metal could have anything in common, because they're obviously completely different. Daft Punk are obviously more disco, but yeah, that seems what Justice managed to do. They had this kind of weird crossover between Daft Punk and metal, and it somehow worked, and was, especially in the first album, was amazing.
That's me from the sound guy's nightmare room outside.
Was that hailstones?
No, that was just like, that was a few drops of rain. That was probably like the sweat from a bird. Like, it's so intense.
Okay, we're going to play a tune, and it's a full American, which I wasn't sure about at first, but it's definitely grown on me. Absolute tune. I cycled listening to the album. I listened to the album twice back to back today, going on a cycle. It was roasting, but I didn't think I was going to make it up the hills. But the Mickey Nines got me through it. Let us know in the comments what you make of this from the new album Modern Kunst.
Shooter drill, routine, mass, murder, suicide, marshmallow magazine, corsair everything, dialysis machine, fat fox, wait in line. We got full American, I got full American, let's go full American, fool me once again, fool me again. We got full American, I got full American, let's go full American, fool me once again, fool me again. Surf on the sea, which seas, surfing on bending knees, pay to the god that bleeds, pray allegiance to the black racist and G. Yes, please, rapist released with these rapistic hip disease. Black Friday, World War TV. We got full American, I got full American, let's go full American, fool me once again, fool me again. We got full American, I got full American, let's go full American, fool me once again, fool me again. Surfing on my psychosis, surfing on my psychosis. Surfing on my psychosis, surfing on my psychosis. Surf by shotgun, brace the beast. Live on track, you daiquiris. Letty and stars and bars. Bacteria key base, white and stars. Venerate magnates, real estate. Detonate real estate, liberate. We got full American. I got full American. Let's go full American. Fool me once more, fool me again. We got full American. I got full American. Let's go full American. Fool me once more, fool me again. Surfing on my psychosis, surfing on my psychosis. Surfing on my psychosis, surfing on my psychosis.
Strange mood of our time.
You call that radio?
Makes coherent sense.
This is You Call That Radio TV. We're live with the Mickey Nines, and we are, if you're watching this on Twitch, Twitter, or Facebook, then you need to get the bus to YouTube. So get the bus to YouTube here. Camera's moving a bit. I think I've got an invisible. Join us here. This is the link. That's the link. That's the link there. Get the bus to YouTube. It looks and sounds better over there. We're live with the Mickey Nines right now. Absolute tune. And yeah, like you're saying, it's just the album is genuinely getting better with every single listen. And I'm loving that it does sound like the kind of sort of early Mickey Nines making a racket in a garage. I know it was a lockdown garage and it was a Zoom calls and shit, but it's got that feel of sort of younger Mickey Nines, and the dance links are cool. It just sounds cool. I like it. I love it. Tune. I love how this is like Shark in the Water days, says Alex, echoing just what we're saying there. Paul picked up a hire either Friday or Saturday night who's going to be playing tennis with Dave's dad the next day.
All right. I know who that is. Yeah.
Paul was the taxi driver himself was in the house, Paul.
Well, I know who my dad is. I know who the other guy is as well.
Well, you think you know. You don't know unless you've had the DNA test. Oh, I was glad these days these guys are still doing music. I remember grabbing their number for Damien at a very early touch gig, then Roll On Sound City. Does it mean Roll On Sound City? Are you playing Sound City?
I remember meeting Mark at that gig, and I think we finished playing in King Tut's, and then this guy, I don't know him, obviously just came up to us and he was like, blah, 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 I would like to show. I've got this guy, Damien. He's like this big shot. He wants to talk to you, and that guy ended up being our manager and very good friend for many years. And he took us down to Liverpool Sound City, and we had some amazing gigs in Liverpool. So yeah, hi Mark, how you doing?
Hello, Mark. The new album definitely sounds more influenced by Daft Punk. Chris Heron does the best reviews. He does, and on that note, actually, Chris Heron just made a review for Jackal Trades. He's been writing it for a couple of weeks, and then he sent me it last night, and it's the history of the world and the universe.
Oh yeah, I read that. Yeah, the evolutionary greatness of Jackal Trades, which is the only science books that I read. There's Voyage of the Beagle, and then the history of Jackal Trades.
It's really hard to do reviews, man. I mean, as a writer, I mean, I like writing, I enjoy it, and I think that reviews are always quite difficult to do and find the right adjectives, especially if you're saying something nice. It's very easy to be an enemy journalist that hates an album, but to actually write a positive review that isn't boring is difficult. And Chris Hearn does it excellent and fantastic. Check it out. I'll put a link in the comments for that.
I was actually thinking, I think I talked to Dave about this, but I was going to start my own review thing. It was going to be called No Stars Blogspot. And everybody just gets no stars. Like, I went to see this gig. It was this guy, his Jackal Trades, whatever. But he thinks he's clever with that name. Ha ha. I had this Scottish accent, can't understand a word he was saying. No stars.
You want to do it on recallthat.com if you want, because I started doing a weekly review thing and try to pick 8 or 9 songs, and it was difficult to keep going with them into stuff that I'm trying to do at the same time. So yeah.
One thing I was thinking about the No Stars Blogspot, because I genuinely did think about doing it and just slagging off all my pals and everybody in the scene. But I thought that even though it would deliberately be just a joke, I think people would just take it too seriously and get offended. So I didn't.
People do get offended. People do get offended.
Serious. I mean, everybody would get no stars, so that would be the joke. You get maybe 1 star, and that'd be like a giveaway.
Fair that. going to put the link for Chris's review here. But yeah, if you like a good review, but I actually one of my ideas was review the reviewers. I think somebody pissed me off, and I was like, what if I just start a blog reviewing the reviewers? And I'll keep on getting smaller. Yeah, in case you're wondering, is my chair going down? No, it's the camera's going up. Tam the Van says it's Franz Ferdinand meets the darkness. What do you think of that?
I like that one. That is great.
Yep.
I think again, Franz Ferdinand and the Darkness were bands that in 2007, when we were 18ish, whatever, were hitting the scene, and like they were massive and you kind of like the Darkness. Do you know what I mean? They were fun, but I don't know if anybody really loved the Darkness, but they were kind of fun. And Franz Ferdinand were a revelation when they came out, man. Brilliant. And
I took a date to see the Darkness at the SECC.
I bet they would be brilliant.
I wasn't a fan, to be honest. I wasn't a fan, but fair enough. I know I suppose they're good at what they do. It just wasn't my thing. Maybe I need to look back at it now. I'm less of a music snob now than I was then. I think when I started booking in a venue, I started just looking for positives in bands rather than negatives. And at the end of the day, if you're a good live band, you're a good live band. So there's a lot of stuff that I would watch live that I'd really enjoy, but I wouldn't necessarily listen to in the house. Kirsten's got a good name for your blog. No stars in your eyes. And this is for you, Dave. Mark says, pretty sure in Liverpool I was having a pee in a cubicle and Dave monkey barred through the door to see if I was okay.
Monkey barred through the door. I used to pretend at festivals that I was a Portaloo toilet enthusiast. Just be waiting up in the queue, saying like, "Oh, I'm really excited. This is a Winchester 1917, and like it's actually a rare one. The flush is on the other side. I'm getting really into it, and then just see folk they try and get them in on it as well."
Vintage.
Oh, vintage Winchester 1917, absolute classic. Right.
There's got to be a scene. There's got to be a Portaloo enthusiast scene out there somewhere.
Aye.
Mark McKinnon says secret gig years ago was class. Won't forget the Doug's lying on the couch.
Oh yeah.
Which secret gig? Which one? We did a few.
That was the one in Tradeston.
The
one on the south side, in the big
in an old building.
Yeah.
That was good. Is that the one Jackal Trades played and the electricity didn't work at one point or something?
Yes.
Yes. What was it? If it was something to do with the volume of the amps made the
circuit break.
Yeah, so it was strange because the monitor sound was fine. I think it was Sambo that did the sound for that, and it was the monitors were fine. So like, I just thought it was a tough crowd. Like, we weren't getting much reaction. I went, well, this is to be expected. Mickey Nine's Jackal Trades, very different. Not everyone's going to get it, but I was expecting someone to get it. But it was like the song finished and everyone's just like still looking and like, what is going on here? But it was an Xmas one. Was that maybe? Yeah. So was that the same one? I don't think so. I don't think your album launch was in Christmas. I don't think.
I think that was just a giggle. I think
we did do a few secret ones, so that's why it's hard to.
Oh yeah.
And the before times, of course.
Certainly, all those secret ones were some of the best ones.
And the Smoke Machine, Hour by the Bridge. We elves showed you where to go. Yeah, that Lecky did go. Yeah, that was
Christmas, and that's right because there was the elves, and that's right. Yeah, it was the place. Yeah.
That was good. That was a good
one.
We
can't give any more details than that.
We can't give any more details about that one, but it was a good night. So what I've got here behind me is vinyl, which I believe is on its way to the people who crowdfunded it. I did it. I joined in the crowdfunder.
That was massive.
Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing.
I want to. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Just to say about the crowdfunding, it was absolutely huge for us because it paid off in the end because because of COVID, obviously we've not had any gigs, and that's the income for the band, and recording and making music videos and all the things you need to do. Costs a lot of money, and we were basically using our own money, and then we ran out of that. So without that crowdfunding,
Can people still? Sorry, I said crowdfunder. It's Kickstarter. Can people?
Yeah.
If I put the Kickstarter link in the comments, will people still be able to buy a vinyl from it, or is it over?
I think it's over.
I think it's over. Yeah.
Number of prints.
How can people buy a vinyl if they want?
I don't think they can, to be honest, because it was basically, you pay. Yeah, when you do an order to the factory, you order like 500 or whatever, and that's what you pay for. So you can't just kind of do an order by request, because then you'd have to print another 500.
So you didn't even just you didn't buy a few extra spares?
I
don't
don't
know.
think so. I don't know. I think if
I
you're
think we need
interested,
to get these ones sent out first, and then we'll see what we've got left.
yeah, exactly. We need to send these out. They're a bit late because everything's a bit late, but they will get sent out soon in the next couple of weeks. And if you're looking for an update on that, basically probably by the time of the garage gig on the 23rd of October, we plug, we would know what the situation was with new vinyls and what things are happening. Yeah. So at the moment, just if you want a vinyl, just either if you've already ordered one, it will come soon, or wait and we'll see what we can do by October.
Wait till October 23rd. I've just put that in my diary. I'm hopeful I'll be in Spain. That the Space Mountain that Martin Youth Glover does looks like an amazing festival. So, but that's if travel. I've kind of given up on travel for the year. I don't think it's probably going to happen. But yeah, we're going to play another tune. I was going to ask you about the where did you film? Was it the garage that you filmed all this stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like a wee bubble in the middle of the quarantine where you were allowed to kind of get together and with a certain number of people. Because like obviously to do a music video, you need to have five, I suppose, different people in different bubbles, because you need the 4 bands and the film.
I think there was some loopholes if you were doing it for work.
Yeah, there was like I can't remember how exactly it worked, but there was a loophole. There was a specific time. It was like 2 weeks window where we could do it. And luckily the guy who owns the garage is a big fan of the band, and he kind of just was like, well, you can use the venue basically for free, as long as you obey all the COVID rules and that, and you do it in this time. And so we managed to kind of get it filmed and do it. So. And
is it Harold Francis?
Yeah, Harold did this music video, and he also did the one for Soundhouse brackets Ha 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 as well, which is an amazing video. We filmed that one at the, not called the Practice Pad, A1 Studios now.
A-Side
Studios, yeah. So we just filmed that in a rehearsal studio. It was great. She had a smoke machine and then got to it. But yeah. Fantastic.
Is that the same? Is this the same? It must be the same Harold Francis who used to play drums for a band called Annie Stevenson.
He played, is it not Red something he played with as well?
That's something else.
This is a long time ago, so I mean, I'm assuming he's been in another band since then. This must have been about 10, 11 years ago. They were a great band, and they were doing lots of stuff, and then they just disappeared.
Maybe he never mentioned that he played music, because we know him fairly well now. I never mentioned that, but he is a fantastic video maker, whatever you call it. And I'd highly recommend him to anyone who's looking for getting a video done. The guy he's just brilliant. He's got great cat. He's passionate. He's brilliant at editing. He's dead reliable. He's dead funny. He's dead chilled out. It's cool.
Yeah, he's great, because I think like if you ask him to do something, he'll do it, which is always like a really useful thing when you're making a music video, because sometimes it hasn't worked out like that, and he will also like change stuff as well and do it with you. So yeah, he's great.
And by the way, I just realised something recently. You should take that from us, because I counted up the number of music videos we've made and how many minutes worth of music videos it is. And it's longer than a feature film. So we've made about an hour and a half worth of music videos. And
obviously all the ones from the new ones. Did you record a full gig? Did you record the full album with that when you were at the garage, or is it?
No, it was just. I think it was just the 4 that we had time for, because we started. It was just like one night we had to do it, so even getting those ones in was like pretty a bit of a rush,
takes and stuff like that. I by the way, everyone, we've got lots of people on this show who keep on asking me to ask you to play Capture Works. Can you just assure these people that I did ask you to play our Capture Works show?
Yeah. So the reason we didn't do that is, well, it's basically two things. It's pretty hard to get rehearsals and get everybody in the same place. It's at different times during COVID. There's been times where you can do that. And so, it was theoretically possible, but it's not easy. The other thing was because our band is so much about the live thing, and it's about like the real live thing, if you know what I mean, not recorded live. We just felt it just
Capture
wasn't.
Works is real live, real time live. Just to clarify, in case folk think it's pre-recorded, you spend a lot of time and money being the only people that are genuinely doing it in real time.
I know, and it's been great, and I've watched the majority of it.
Well, you played one. You played one. You've seen it. No smoke and mirrors here.
I did it, and it was brilliant. But it was maybe more suited because I was doing like this acoustic thing with Killer Whale, and it's probably the best thing I've got actually of me doing Killer Whale. So thanks very much, Mark. But I just think it probably would have been good with Mickey and Ice, but just because we were just like, no, the next live gig we do is going to be a real live gig, and then we were just kind of had a heart set, and that basically we just made our minds up with that. And
October the 23rd is hopefully going to be the day.
Or Down the Rabbit Hole if that's on.
Down, fingers crossed. I mean, Down are really I think the announcement's on August the 9th, so technically they'll need to start building the stage because that's the Monday, and then the gig's on the 14th. I think it's 13th, 14th, 15th. So
that would be great.
It would be great, and I think also like now normally you need a couple of weeks to build something like down the rabbit hole. I think that because it's strange times, unprecedented times, I reckon you could get double your crew to make something happen in a week, rather than normally you would have everyone's exhausted from doing all the different other festivals. But there's been no Eden, there's been no Kelburn, there's been nothing in Scotland. So I'd imagine that there'd be plenty of people willing to help. I would do a voluntary shift for a couple of tickets. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure lots of other people would. So we've just got to hope for Doon. That's our hope. And Lindisfarne and Knockengorrick, of course, as well, are still in the mix. We've got the solo gig from Dugate Capture Works was special, says Danny Boy.
Thanks very much.
Got Jay Coleman in the house. You need to change the date for October gig, specifically for me, because that's the only Saturday I'm working in October. Get a holiday. It's ages away.
Pulisicke. Say you've got to self-isolate because of COVID. Easy.
What about the gig down from Stow? It's like the small Chinatown. That was another good. That was the album launch one.
I think that's probably my personal favourite. I think that was good. Bez was at that. How cool was that?
Yeah, I heard he was that. I don't think I've seen him though. I heard he was there though. Everyone was saying Bez is here.
Yeah, I met him. That was cool. No, I think that was great. It's hard to explain how unbelievably chaotic these things are behind the scenes. People just kind of turn up to the thing and it kind of somehow worked out. But see the whole, the fucking triad.
The walls were made 20 minutes before the gig started. There weren't any walls before it.
The actual triad were involved. Like they were pissed off, basically. So yeah, it was mental. That was great.
I know. My mum and dad were having dinner in the restaurant underneath it as well. And then Crash Club were rehearsing, and there's this massive crystal chandelier on the roof. And I was just eating some nice Chinese food. I could just see it whenever the drum was hitting, the chandelier was shaking. It was incredible.
Crash Club as well, man. I want them to come back.
Yeah.
They should come back.
And that's a great Chinese restaurant as well. If anybody's looking for a Chinese restaurant in Glasgow, just a wee plug there for that Chinese restaurant in Chinatown. Very good.
Shouts to Lee, who's watching from Wishy Hospital. Get well soon, Lee.
Get well soon.
She actually was hospitalised in the middle of the Karen Dunbar show. We had Karen Dunbar in the show last night, and Lee was hospitalised halfway during it. But she's watched the rest today. She's feeling much better, and she's tuned in tonight. So get well soon, Lee.
Get well soon.
Mary says, great music and chat, guys. Kirstine saying Soundhouse Smoke Machine downstairs was a monster.
Yeah.
Everything about the Soundhouse was monstrous in a good way. But we're going to play. Maybe get back to the sound in a minute. But we're going to play Raw, which is a wee bit. It's not really suitable for kids, is it?
Well,
I think technically it is.
It's technically
it's a bit saucy. It sounds a bit saucy.
It's not sauce. It's raw.
It's raw. No sauce.
No sauce. It's literally just about meat. Like if you listen to
review, it's one of Frank Woody's old classics.
If you listen to every lyric in that song, that is
Frank Woody would. Sorry, man. On you go.
No, so just to say, if you read the lyrics, those lyrics are about eating meat. Any other kind of is in your head.
Right. Okay. So it might be offensive to vegans. Are you saying?
Then they can just pretend it's ironic.
It's ironic. This is Mickey Nine's Raw.
I like it juicy, I like it raw, I like my meat on its feet with a spear and a saw, I like it salty, I like it red, I like the spittle on the lips when they're giving me it, I like it bloody, I like it pink, I like the juice off the bone, then I'm down in my drink, I like it meaty, I like it warm, I like the scold on the tongue when I'm taking it on. I like it raw. I like it raw. Turn up the bass, I like it. I like it spicy, I like when it burns, I like the pain in my muscles when I suck in the lungs, I like it slippy, dripping with sweat, I like the piercings and the tattoos when it's wriggling and wet, suck on a lemon, I suck it dry, I suck the marrow from the teeth and the tears from the eyes, I like it good. I like it wrong, I like the bass lines distorted when I plug in the song. I like it. Turn up the bass, 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 I like it. I like it pumping, I like it raw, I like the synthesized drum beat and the squeal of the saw, I like it banging, I like when it drops, I like the beat taking over and the rhythm don't stop, suck on a 10-inch, I suck it dry, I suck the marrow from the teeth and the tear from the eye, I like it good, I like it wrong, I like the bass lines distorted when I plug in the song, I like it. Turn up the bass, 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 I like it.
Yeah, no respect in the aspect to the man like Mark. They love how the man talk on the radio. In case you never know. You call that radio, call that the radio. You call that radio, call that the radio. Come and say, eeny, my name, I'll just go with the flow. Eeny, my name, I'll just go with the flow. So till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Boom! Lot of mercy. Yo. You call that radio. You call that radio. Come and say, don't you be another man, I'll go lose your head. Say, don't you be another, me say, and lose the head, me say radio. radio. Call that a radio, radio. Straight from out of Glasgow, Glasgow. Straight from out of Glasgow, Glasgow. Nice enough on the studio, studio. Come and say, in me, my name, I'll just go with the flow. In me, my name, I'll just go with the flow. Till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. No radio, radio. You call that the radio, radio. Them man I give you miss a lot of subject, and them I think a man you can't object. So don't you ever come and disrespect. I love and respect in a every aspect.
You're tuned into You Call That Radio TV. We're live with the Mickey Nines. Cameras all over the place.
That dub, you call that radio thing is amazing, man.
It's good, eh?
Who did that?
Bonnie Prince Bob was on the show about November, and he just said, "I've made a dub plate for you." And I was just expecting it to be like, you know, a wee small sample. It's actually a 4-minute song. And it's a belter. It's an absolute belter. I think we're going to do a now. That's what I call You Call That Radio EP for all the patrons exclusively, because a lot of the snippets here, like send me the other one. What is it? The one with Gordy and Colin Syme did, which is I'm not going to play it all, but just to give you an idea of it, you might have heard it before.
You call that radio, radio, radio. More like a TV show, TV show, TV show.
And that's another 4-minute song as well, and no one's ever heard more than 20, 30 seconds of these. So yeah, we've got an EP coming soon for all the patrons. Thank you to all the patrons who didn't cancel. Lost a few last month because I think we did a bit less, but I still did about 12 shows or something. And when it's nice weather and when the Euros is on, it just seemed like, you know, let's just not listen to podcasts. Let's not do podcasts. Let's watch the football and sit in the sun. But yeah, what I did do last month as well was releasing a new album. Jackal Trade's at this point out now. Is I've been recording, filming stuff in fields and all sorts. So there's lots of sort of content, branding and content. Smash that like button. Let's get right into it. Stuff coming soon. And also, I'll be doing a YouTube style video. I'm going to start doing them. One's called Why Your Friends Don't Share Your Music. I'm just editing that just now. It'll be ready soon. And that is, what do you make of that? Do you know, why don't people share your music? What do you think of that?
Can't be bothered.
It's weird. It's weird though, because there's lots of people that like it. Your Spotify, you're getting some great Spotify numbers, I've noticed. It sounds like you've built up a big worldwide international fan base. Is it a bit of a big deal?
Well,
I think in South America, it seems to be.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody cares about this kind of thing, but it's certainly Ants, who again can't be here tonight. He's not feeling very well. If he was here, he could explain it a lot better. But he's kind of like the manager of the band as well, and he kind of created this marketing campaign. We had some budget left over from the crowdfunder, so we thought we'd put it into marketing the band. And basically, you know, it's kind of like, it's kind of boring stuff, but essentially it's trying to use social media, and you pay a bit of money to Facebook or whatever to like basically advertise your video, and to see if we can kind of guide that towards Spotify in order to get on Spotify playlists. Because the way that music works nowadays, it doesn't really matter about the sort of the hit parade or anything. It's more about Spotify playlists. So
music, the Spotify playlist.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so
that's what it is now.
I mean, it just is. I mean, it's pretty dire stuff, but let's just face it, it's just a reality. And so yeah, it was just kind of like a big marketing campaign towards that. So we ended up getting a big kind of following from, as Dave said, like Mexico, and I don't know why that happened, but for some reason there was quite a lot of South American people got onto these adverts and then clicked the link, and so we have this kind of big online thing from South America. I don't really understand it myself, but if it means that we can tour Mexico, I'll be well up for it. So
we're hoping for a Searching for Sugar Man.
Yeah.
Where we end up being massive in Bolivia.
That's a great film, by the way. If anyone's not seen Searching for Sugar Man, oh my god, that's so good. That wouldn't happen ever again though with the internet, because you could just Google yourself.
Yeah.
But I
North
suppose
Korea. North Korea could be.
well, that's true. I think it's North Korea.
Smuggled in.
North Korea, Iran, and there's another country as well. Like, see, sometimes like I get blocked copyright things. It's like your content, your show is blocked in North Korea, Iran, and somewhere else. And I'm like, I can live with that. I don't think we've got that big a following there.
Well, the first line of Ammunition is "So Kim Jong wants to conquer the world." So if he's maybe heard that, or his secret police have picked up on that, you never know. Maybe he's like, that's maybe his favorite song. And then
who was the guy? Kim Jong Un before that.
Kim Jong Un. Yeah, Kim Jong
Un. We had a version of Overheard in the West End that went Overheard in the West End, sipping ginseng with Kim Jong Un or something like that. And I think that took off.
So maybe it is that. Maybe if you just mention North Korean buzzword and the sort of North Korean secret police pick that up on their internet filter, and they'll look at it, and then you get lots of views.
That would be a decent EP. Says Ali, that EP is coming. We've got about 7 jingles, so they're all coming. Where's the CD T-shirt? Right, okay. Let's get that straight as well, right? So everybody's asking me about the bundle, the Jackal Trades bundle. Now, we did a listening party on about a month ago, and then on the Monday when it was released on Spotify, we changed everything. Like we added some stuff, we changed some stuff. So the album was only finished 3.5 weeks ago. Then we had to finalise the artwork. Then we had to send it to, I think the CDs are coming from Czech Republic or something like that. And the CDs are coming from Shettleston, I think. So it's all coming together, and the lyric books are coming from London. It should all be here in the next week or two. I appreciate everyone who supported early, but because it's a topical album, we worked to the final whistle. It's not like I was holding on to the album for 2 months before it was released. It's not like anyone's going to play us on the radio or anything like that anyway. So it's a new album, so it's going to take a wee while to get it. But part 2 is going to be ready this month as well, so look out for that. Angela's saying, you can't work all the time, Mark. You need to have breaks too. I like working. It's just I've got to do things other than just this as well, because it's a case of like I've got to do other stuff. I'm doing stuff for the channel, but I think there's got to be more to the channel than just me talking to people through a computer screen, because I think people are going to be sick of that by the end of the year. But the thing is that I can actually have someone sitting here now, which I forgot about. So if there's anyone out there who wants to be interviewed in here, then you're welcome to come round. Greg says, I shared your music. Unfortunately, it was in Pirate Bay. Not with that. I think it is. I think
my
Spotify.
TV's actually, the wee bit where you can get into Netflix and iPlayer and stuff like that. Mine's has actually got a wee icon for Napster on it, which is incredible.
Yeah, Napster's legit now.
Is it?
So wait, yeah, man, because when we put an album out, we usually use DistroKid, and you can just tick all the different. It's usually a bunch of people. It's like 20 different online platforms. Never heard of most of them, but you never know. One might be big in Bolivia. So, but yeah, Napster's one of them. But they're legit now. They tried to turn into a download streaming service, I believe, but it didn't really take off because Spotify claims to have killed piracy, but there's still piracy going on. It's just, I think in general, people would rather not use their memory by downloading stuff, and they'd rather just stream it. So Spotify won the war for now. It seems that's the case. Now, we're nearly it's nearly football time, so we're just going to wrap things up. So how can people support it? So they can't buy the album. Is that what you're saying? They can't buy the album even if they wanted to?
No, you can download it. You could buy it off Bandcamp.
Okay, cool. I'll put the Bandcamp link in the comments.
Bandcamp is, I'm sure everybody on here knows this already, but it's by far the best way to support.
Talk about it every day on here.
It's a great site. They waived their fees on the last Friday of the month. They've been continuing that for the last year, and they take a cut, a quid or something. But it's just the best way to do it. The other, the streaming sites, you basically make nothing off of them. So, but if you buy an album for a tenner off Bandcamp, it will charge you an extra quid or whatever for the Bandcamp fee if they're doing that, and then the tenner just goes into our band bank account, which we can then use to pay for petrol to go to gigs and music videos and pay for studio time and all the things you need to do. So, yeah.
James Stewart, you might have missed the launch parties on October the 23rd at the Garage. Who have you got support acts sorted yet?
Yes and no, I think. So I think it's one of these things that we've actually not really thought about it that much because it's like, you never know.
It might not even happen.
It's not really ever looked forward more than a week at for the last year. But yeah, basically, it's a great band called Land of Rubber Men, who are a local Glasgow band. They're just criminally not underrated, but underknown. Criminally unknown. Well, they're known, but they should be bigger than. So yeah, Land of Rubber Men, who are just fantastic bands. So they're playing, and I think we're going to get a band up from England, try and do a gig swap, but we haven't organised that yet.
Amazing. Well, the Moods, we did a gig swap. The Moods, that was good.
The Moods, yeah, they're great.
And they're actually playing on the 24th of July, which is 5 days after Freedom Day, which I believe, or Vitamin D Day, as I've heard other people calling it. If that even happens, who knows what's going to happen? Like you said, there's no point in looking further than a week ahead right now because things change
dramatically.
Someone said, I found through a Reddit thread who the gas mask guy is. Well, don't tell them.
No, don't tell us.
Don't tell them. If anyone doesn't know, there's a gas mask guy who appears and on stage as ammunition, during ammunition. And we thought it was part of the stage show, but it's just a guy. And also, I was going to ask, someone else asked earlier on about the mask. Is that you ditched the mask? What's the deal with that?
I knew it would come to this. I don't actually. Well, it's sort of
you've moved to face paint. You moved to face paint.
Yeah.
But would face paint handle a sweaty Mickey Nines gig?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't even thought about that. I think we moved to face paint for the sort of look for the album. Do you know what I mean? Like bands changed their look for albums, like the Beatles did that for Sgt. Pepper's or not. Not comparing ourselves to the Beatles, but bands change their look as their sound changes. So we thought we'd kind of do something a bit different, a bit more kind of dark, because it's the modern Kunst is probably dark, basically darker than our other albums overall. So I thought we'd do something a bit different. Whether that would, maybe we might just keep the mask for the live shows though. I don't know. It'd be kind of hard to not use the mask for live shows. But I haven't really decided what to do the live show because we haven't played live for 2 years, which is the longest time. I don't know if Dave, this is the same for you, but I calculated it, and this is the longest time that I've not played a gig since I was 14, and I didn't actually know how to play the guitar when I was 14. And then before that, it's the longest time I've not been on stage since I was 4 years old. So it's
that's manual. That's manual. Where'd you get that?
Yeah, I think I like the haircut actually.
It's a bit Metal Gear Solid. I quite like it. Anyone just be like knocking on a wee door beside you and confusing you?
Jay Coleman says Gas Mask Guy is one of the nicest people I've ever met, but I'm still scared of him because he could definitely kill me.
Oh, he already has. Just a matter of time.
Okay. Thank you, Mickey Nines. I think it's football time. Go and support the release at mickeynines.bandcamp.com. If you want to support You Call That Radio, then help us build the thing at patreon.com/You Call That Radio. And go and buy tickets for October the 23rd. I believe tickets are still on sale for that.
Yes, they are.
Good. Because I'm waiting to find out if I'm going to Spain or I'm going to go and check that out. We're going to end with, I think, probably my favourite tunes, Mickey Nines tune, which is Rang With Me.
Yep. I'm just going to, can I just finish it with a wee phrase?
Yes.
Il calcio sta ritornando a casa.
Well, that was the end of that. That's the end of the show, guys. Enjoy the song. Thank you, Mickey Nines. This is Rang With Me.
Mark. Thanks very much. Have a good night.
Ciao.
Good night.
What was that? What's wrong with me? I'm an animal, living in the wrong enclosure, living in the wrong environment, living in a cage not built for me. What's wrong with me? Right with me. What's wrong with me? I'm an animal, crawling all across the office floor, crawling in the corridor, creeping in the corner behind the door. What's wrong with me? I'm an animal, crawling all across the office floor, crawling in the corridor, creeping in the corner behind the door. What's wrong with me? Right with me. Right with me. Right with me. Right with me. What's right with me? I was built for the grasslands, built for the jungle. Now I'm living in a cubicle, living in a cubicle. I was built for the grasslands, built for the jungle. Now I'm living in a cubicle, living in a cubicle. Right with me now. Right with me. Right with me now. Right with me. I was built for the grasslands, built for the jungle. I'm an animal, living in the wrong enclosure, living in the wrong environment, living in a cage not built for me. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Right with me. Right with me. Right with me. Right with me. What's wrong with me?
Mickey Nines rang with me. Yes. Sorry. There's a couple of comments just to pick up on. I'm a ghost again. Fuck it. You'll just need to deal with it. Do the tickets come with the album if you bought the bundle? I don't know. I don't know. Fuck. All right, we're back. I don't know if the tickets come with the album if you bought the bundle. I will ask Dougie for you and get back to you, Lou. 22nd of October is Fontaines DC in Edinburgh. Fuck's sake. Well, they're playing on the 23rd, so you can do both, James. See you in the Terrace Tam. I might see you in the fan zone for the game. Nice one, Doghouse. Hello, Doghouse. Thank you for tuning in. Lee, this tune seems quite fitting in the hospital. I hope they find out what's wrong with you, and I hope you get well soon, Lee. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in. No adverts, no sponsors, no funding. So help us build the hang at patreon.com/you call that radio. And please do go and buy the new Mickey Nines album, Modern Kunst, on Bandcamp, or just stream it. Just stream it as well. You can just stream it on Spotify if that's more your thing. Thank you. Enjoy the football. Bye.
You call that radio? You call that radio TV? No. You call that radio TV?
This is You Call That Radio.